So Erik, I mean, a lot of things to go over here. I mean, first new weight class, first one up here in Canada, new nickname that I just noticed too. Let's start with the actual fight itself.
And the fight itself, he was definitely a lot more agile. I thought he was going to come forward a little bit more. He was actually a little bit lighter on his feet, but it was one of those things, tried to work the body, but like I said, he was being very evasive. But in this fight, I knew the little bit that I know about him, I know he cuts a lot of weight. I know what it's like to cut that much weight, and I know what it's like to have somebody on you constantly clinching, and it's tiring as hell. So it was one of those things, even after the first round, persevere and just press, grind, eventually tire him out. He was definitely strong on my first takedown attempts, but I could hear him grunting. He was putting a lot into staying on his feet. So I knew that eventually, if I just baited, he would eventually tire out, and I'd eventually get him down, and that's what happened.
And I know you take a lot of pride in being exciting and finishing fights and stuff, but it sounded like you were trying to almost prove something to yourself in a way. But you mentioned the word grinding. Why was that important to you?
Because everybody, that knows me in my WEC UFC career, especially because coming out of Rufus sport, they think I'm a striker, and they look at my losses and they think my weakness is my ground. Most of my wins are from fighting on the ground, taking them down, submitting them off my back. I'm well-rounded, that's one of the things. My last couple fights, I feel like my ground suffered because I just cut too much weight. My muscles weren't there, my energy wasn't there, I didn't have any pop. So I wanted to show, even with the big boys, I can compete. I train with all these monsters, I train with people that fight at 170 and 180. I was doing an interview earlier, and we would joke about it because when me and Anthony started in the WEC, I walked around heavier than Anthony did, and he fought a weight class heavier than me. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that I feel like it's just trials and tribulations. I feel like my career is just kind of I was so tough mentally that it's not about can you make the weight, it's should you make the weight, and I feel like at this point I'm older, I'm more mature, I know my body, and I'm not trying to win a bodybuilding contest, I'm trying to win fights.
What do you make of the surge in lightweights coming up to 170? I mean, you, Anthony Pettis, Michael Chiesa, James Vick said he's now going to 170.
Well, I'll tell you this, Anthony beat me to it. It was my idea first. I don't care. And he'll tell you, it was my idea first because I remember I told Duke, I'm like, Duke, I think I want to move up to 70. He's like, are you sure? Those guys they're bigger. I'm like, yeah, but I train with all these guys. I don't train with really any 55ers. Everybody we train with, the only 55er I really trained with at Rufus Sport was Anthony. But is he really a 55er? No, now he's fighting at 70, So I think it's good. I think it's great for the sport because I think cutting weight is dangerous. I mean, I've been there. I used to cut 45, I used to cut from 185, sometimes 190, down to 145. Another problem that, I said later on in my career, fighting at 70, I want to Donald Cerrone this. What I mean by that is if UFC called me up 2 weeks, be like, yep, I want to take it. I want that, At 45, I need 3 months, okay? We gotta get my weight down this much, like I said, I'm not trying to win bodybuilding competitions. I want to be able to fight. I want to stay healthy. I want to stay active. So I think it's awesome that everybody is kind of getting the gist and everybody is, moving up to more of a healthy weight class. I think it's just better for the sport.
So staying active is the goal for the rest of the year?
Staying active. That's all I want to do. I'm so sick of the layoffs. Yeah, I mean, you guys know. I mean, we talk about, I was supposed to fight Jose Aldo here, way back in the day at 45. When I was fighting at 45, I either need 3 or 4 months just to prepare my weight. And I had to be lucky to not get injured because my body got so brittle that I'm tearing my knees, I'm breaking my hand. So that's that for me right now. It's just stay active. That's what I want.
Talk about how great it feels personally to go up to welterweight. That's what your dad always wanted to do, and to get this great win.
Greatest feeling. You're gonna make me tear up. Greatest feeling in the world.
I lost my grandfather 2 days ago, and I had to bury him.
Sorry.
So
sorry.
I'm with you, bro.
It's one of those things that it was unexpected. He was super healthy. He would joke with me all the time. Walking around 195 sometimes, he'd be like, man, you're going to finish your career at 185. I know that's craziness, but he always thought that I should move up in weight class. And for me to come in and win, grind, not only that, have my brother, my other corner, Brent Stepanek, he was actually there before I was when my dad passed. He was there for my mom. So close-knit family, man. This is important for all of us, and I know it's important for my mom too.
Speaking of staying active, I mean, now you're in a new weight class. You've got a whole new field of potential opponents. Is there anyone who stands out to you?
Nah. just whatever, short notice, I don't care.
How much,
just fights.
how much weight did you actually cut for this?
Honestly, so I got here, what did we weigh in our Wednesday? 176. Wow.
So this might be a weird question, but did you feel like a welterweight or just a 155er that didn't cut weight?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a good question because I think you're going to start seeing more 155ers that just don't cut weight. I you know, like I said, being on both ends of the spectrum, man, there is no, we're always confident going into a fight, but probably the one doubt you have in your mind is when your legs feel heavy and arms feel heavy. And I was kind of joking, you know, my last fight, I weighed in 155. It was at 55. The next day, now that they weigh us, the day when we get here, I was 185. I gained 30 pounds. That's not functional weight. That's not muscle. That's all water. So it's almost like I'm filling my legs full of water. And you can notice my last 2 fights, first round's great. After that, I'm like, okay, legs, let's start moving. You know, I'm stuck in the mud. So I think, you know, I'd say more at 55 or at 70, but I think that's going to change. I think you're going to see more people doing that. You're going to see more 70ers going up to 85.
If you had any questions about the power, that right end of the second, that kind of answered for you?
I'll tell you this. And no slight to him. It was a good right hand. Didn't hurt me. And that's the thing. 55, 45. When we're taking this water out of our organs, out of our brain, I'd get hit with shots in fights by smaller dudes and be like, why did that? I got a little fuzzy. Why did that hurt? I felt great. I felt like my ability to take punches was a lot better. So I think it, you know, the guys are going to hit harder. You know, you got your Tyrone Woodleys, you know, and stuff like that. They hit like trucks. But I also want to be able to take a shot. I don't want to deplete my brain, you know.
So you fought the same weight. You basically fought the same weight as if you were cutting 55, right, tonight?
Pretty much. I mean, but the only thing is, also through training camp, to keep healthy, I'm able to eat more calories. I'm able to output more in training. You know what I'm saying? When I would fight at 45, Duke would always joke with me because he's like, your mind is there until about 2 weeks before the fight, and then like my mind's gone. And it's because I'm not thinking about hitting the pads. I'm starving to death. You know, I'm thinking about getting some food in my stomach. So, like I said, it's not healthy. It's not healthy to cut weight, and I think it's super overrated. And you know, I think Anthony proved that too with his win over Wonder Boy. Everybody's like, oh, Wonder Boy's way too big. Everybody keeps saying these guys are too big, and I still keep seeing 55ers, you know, tearing it up.
What was the inspiration between dropping New Breed and going with Phoenix?
I just want to reinvent myself. You know, I've always been a grinder. I've always been someone that doesn't quit. I don't have quit in me. And it was just one of those things. Also, I mean, it goes back to it. My Coach Kush, my boxing coach at Rufus Sport, he was always like, what happens when you get older? Are you really the new breed? You know, are you really the new breed? And I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I was like, you know, I just wanted to reinvent myself, and you know, that's how I feel like. Even coming off 2 losses, that didn't discourage me. I came right back, man. I'm born again every single day.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Awesome, thanks guys. I appreciate it.